Hello guys, before we begin, make sure you click that subscribe button to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell to be notified when all new videos are uploaded to this channel. Thank you and enjoy! Hello guys, Sapphire Morningstar, and I'm here with the review of season 8 of American Horror Story titled Apocalypse. Episode 1 is titled The End, and we begin with this hairdresser named Mr. Galliant, who is played by Evan Peters. He's making this haircut for this for Coco St. Pierre Van Vogt. She's an heiress and a social influencer. And her sister Mallory, along with everybody else in the store, and of course outside that we really don't physically see, they all getting this sort of like this alert that nukes have been fired. So everybody you see people start freaking out. She thinks it's just another false flag like the incident in Hawaii, until she gets a call from her daddy from Hong Kong saying, look, they actually fired these nukes. This is not a joke. This shit is about to go down. I bought some tickets for the entire family, but the family's in Hong Kong, so they're not gonna make it. So he tells her to get safely to there so you eventually survive the nuclear fallout. So then we see the dad's phone sort of get static. So I'm guessing that's when the missile finally landed in Hong Kong, and then they turn on the news, pretty much stating that, look, these nukes is real. We have pretty much fucked up. If you can, get to safety. And he said he's not gonna make it home. So if his kids are watching this, I love you. I'm like, damn, that's some fucked up shit. So Mallory grabs Coco. She's like, look, we gotta go. And we see Gallant packing up his stuff and trying to head home. So she's calling her man Brock and like, look, I need you to get to Santa Monica Airport. I can't live without you. This shit is about to go down. And then while they're driving through traffic, some people are committing suicide so they don't have to essentially die via the blast, or if they do survive, they don't have to sit there and they won't have to try to survive through a freaking nuclear winter. So it's just pure chaos in Los Angeles right now. So they finally get to the airport, and Gallion shows up with his aunt Evie, and he's like, look, your dad, I overheard the phone. He was like, look, I overheard your dad on the phone talking about you had 4 tickets. And she's like, no, but I need to read for Brock. And then he talks about her like, oh my God, what happened to her? She's like, oh my God, my hair. So he pretty much got on because her little vanity ass is gonna be worried about her hair doing a nuclear fallout. This a nuclear fallout, boo. Does he think does he think his hair supply is gonna last a nuclear winter? I'm just saying, because once your little hair products go out, what you gonna be doing your hair with, boo? You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is the end of the world. It's not gonna be no, oh, I'm gonna go to the store and get some old hair products, go get some old whatever fancy hair products she using. It's not gonna be no more of that, honey. What he has in his bag is all he's gonna have. That's not gonna be like. But it got his ass on a plane, so I'm like, yeah, shit, it's the end of the world. I guess you gotta do what you gotta do to survive, you know what I'm saying? Do what you gotta do. And so, they get on plane, and she's like waiting for Brock, and we see people panicking. Panicking, so they're trying to take over the plane. So she ends up calling Brock. He's like, baby, remember that little pre-agreement we had in case somehow? He's like, don't do this to me. And she's like, look, well, you know what, I'm enacting that you're free to date other people. He's like, what? So, cause she is basically, she wants away from him, but she really can't at this moment because their plane is about to be overrun by these people that's also trying to survive. Is literally people are killing each other at this point to try to survive the best way they can and try to avoid a fallout. So they get on the plane. Her chauffeur shoots away any refugees, and then the flight is in the air. And Brock sees the plane. He's like, you bitch! You left me in Santa Monica. I'm like, dude, you better try to find a way to get to safety. I'm not sure how, but And so the survivors on the plane is Gallion, Coco, Gallion's Aunt Evie, and of course Mallory, Coco's assistant. And she's like, Mallory asks Coco, yo, did your dad tell you where we're supposed to go? And she's like, no. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna go ask the pilot. So she goes into the cockpit. Ain't nobody in there. It's on autopilot. So she comes back like, nobody's flying the plane. They're like, what? And then we hear boom, and then we see like this bright light And so then we see them looking out the room, and you see this freaking mushroom cloud, and you see this tear fall from Coco's eye. Like at this point, everybody from the initial blast, majority of Los Angeles is fucking gone at this point. Once that blast hit, they're fucking done. If they it's like what? Now this is the part of American Horror Story that actually started freaking me out. I'm like, wait a minute. All right, so then we go into 40 minutes before the bomb. We see this young man named Timothy. He's waiting. He waiting to open his acceptance letter, see if he got to the school of his, college of his dreams. And you all know, I remember all knowing that feeling when I graduated high school and I sent all my letters in. I got my letters. I was opening them, hoping I got into the schools I wanted. The ones I wanted to go to, I didn't get accepted in. I was sad. So I know that feeling. So I felt that right there. So they wait for the dad to get home, but they end up opening. He got accepted in UCLA. I'm like. And this was the part that made me so sad though, was he's excited, he's going to college, but I'm like, we know that bomb was about to hit, so his dreams was about to be crushed, bruh. And so they start getting these messages and they don't read them, and the dad comes and he's like, have you guys been watching news? They're like, what are you talking about? So he turns the news, they see the moon, and then the wife is like, this can't be real. I'm like, no, boo, it's real. We fucked up. We fucked up. So then this armored vehicle, this military armored vehicle come up in a drive-through, and the dad goes and opens the door, right? And this shit just scared me. Lord, I thought it was real fighters. It's just a freaking ad. I'm sorry. But they come in, they come out, they say we're agents of cooperative, we're coming to take Tim away. And they're like, what you mean take him? And they're like, his genetic code is perfect for a candidate to essentially be the one to survive. And they're like, how the heck you know that? I'm like, because he did a submission he submitted his genetic material to, ancestry kit. So that made me think like, wait, what? Okay. So they tell the dad and the family that he would have a shot at survival that you go get him. So he's like, no. So the mom's like, why you can't take off? But they're like, cause I think the lady said because they were she was trying to get the mom was trying to get the agent to take both Timothy and his brother, and then the woman said because they're not a match. I'm like, what you mean they're not a match? Cause she said that. So my first thought was, Timothy don't belong to that husband. That second child do, but that Timothy does not. So I'm like, Mama was cheating. Oh shit, Mama was cheating. She said because they was not a match. I'm like, oh, Mama was cheating. All the secrets you find out when the end of the world hits, ain't like you can do nothing about it at this point. The end of the world's happening. So they take him away and they take him to this unenclosed bunker. He's like, let me go and have rights. And the man's like, no, you don't. Well, you think about it, at this point, he really won't have any, he doesn't have any rights, because once the world ends, the Constitution and all that other shit ain't gonna fucking matter, because it's gonna be fucking gone. You can't be like, I have a constitutional right. Bitch, no, you don't. The Constitution is dead. The governments are gone. You got no more presidents, no more monarchy, no more prime ministers, constitutions, laws, all that shit is gone. There's nothing now. We're going back to basics. Okay, this is literally what's about to happen. We're going back to basics. And so they take him, they put him in his cage, and he meets a girl named Emily, and she's like, they got me from jail. And he's like, they probably have your DNA, because when you get taken to jail, they do your fingerprints and some other stuff. So that's what I'm saying, how they got her genetic coding. So that makes me think that part right there just made me think like, if this shit was real, I mean, everybody who's ever done an ancestry DNA kit has been locked up, or most likely has gotten a physical, or done a blood donation. Is probably, if the cooperative was a real some sort of society, everybody's blood is probably being tested in case some shit was actually had down. Our genetic code is on fucking file. Cause I remember when my mom just recently did an ancestry DNA kit, and they did say on the little thing you can opt out of having your genetic. I think they say your genetic coding from being in some sort of system. So I'm like, so when I saw this part in the show, I was like, wait a minute, because I thought about that part when I had to help my mom fill out the ancestry DNA information. I was like, wait a minute, didn't I do something on that freaking website about keep your DNA information out of a file? And then there was that stuff on the news about people's genetic coding is being used to profile them some shit. I'm like, holy shit. American Horror Story need to stop doing this shit, taking stuff that's actually happening and making it like some scary horror movie shit, because that started freaking me out. I'm like, started thinking about that shit I heard about the news about the ancestry kits and stuff. I'm like, shit. Then it made me think about the whole blood donor thing, because I did blood donations when I was young. I did one in high school, and I did one, I think, like 2010 or whatever. And I even have my little blood donor card. Is American Red Cross. There's a little barcode on it. Has my blood type on it and my name. I'm like, shit. Now I'm thinking about it. Like, the American Horror Story is just, this episode just creeped me out. This part right here, I'm like, shit. Does that mean they got my shit on file because I did blood donations? Damn it. I'm like, it's freaking me out now. Like, shit. Is our shit on file? Like, oh my God. Like, now I'm freaking scared. Because not only that kind of freaks me out. It was also the thing that when Trump had became president, you know, I haven't seen Cult, so I'm going to have to go and watch that eventually. But it's also that whole thing that I think was a while back where I think Trump was on the thing, and he's talking about if he basically talking shit to North Korea, you know, Kim Jong-un, that's the dictator that rules North Korea. And it basically was talking shit about, like, if somebody he fires, if he fires his nukes, I'm going to fire mine. I'm like, and everybody was like freaking out, like, look, this idiot is gonna start World War III. And in American Horror Story, they talking about nukes have been fired. I'm like, American Horror Story needs to stop taking stuff that actually happens to us and making this shit sound real scary. Cause like people already freaking out that this shit might actually happen, and then you got American Horror Story making it pretty much a series, turn it into a TV show scenario. I'm like, yo. But anyway, back to the show. 2 weeks later, the agents then transport Emily and Timothy, to one of the 10 financial outposts, dropping off at the gates of the refugees in contamination suits. So then they see a black-clad figure leading them inside. Before they enter, they see 2 survivors being executed outside the bunker. So once they are decontaminated, they meet with Wilhelmina Venable, who welcomes them to Outpost 3. Miss Venable is being played by, what's her name? Sarah Paulson. I was going to get it. I was about to call her one of her characters' name. I'm about to say Lana Winters. I'm like, that is a character she played in season 2. That is not her name. Anyway. So she pretty much is, you know, and showing them the Outpost 3 and saying this was a former boys' school that was converted by the cooperative of visionary minds into a refugee. And so then girl Emily's like, what kind of boys' school is underground? Because I was thinking that too. I'm like, what boys' school is underground? But then I thought about it's an underground facility, and the way it looks like one of those, okay, if you ever listen to those conspiracy theorist things, I'm like, what if that was like some sort of Freemasonry or Illuminati headquarters? Because that's what it looks like. For one, why would a boys' school, why would any school for that matter be under fucking ground? That look like some secret society bunker shit, and they just turned it to a refugee outpost. That's what it look like to me. I'm just saying, that's what it look like to me. I don't know what y'all look like to y'all, but that's what it look like to me. I mean, I'm just saying, that's what it looks like one of those little secret society things that rich people go to, and they do they freaky whatever shit they doing up and down. That's what it look like to me. So then, Miss Venable explains that there are two essentially, how would you say this? 2 groups. You have the purples, which are the hand-selected elites chosen for survival. Majority of them happen to be rich, obviously. And then you have the grays, who are the servants, counterparts, and people who are grateful for the seclusion from the fallout. So basically the poor people. You know. Venable herself is the local cooperative representative, and she explains the house rules. Leaving the building is forbidden, obviously. Like, why would you even risk trying to go outside? Like, everything is contaminated. You can't eat. Everything is, there's nothing out there in the world. The nukes destroyed everything. It has contaminated everything. And when it comes to nukes and talk about nuclear radiation, it's gonna be years and years until that stuff even wears off the planet. I mean, and I think it was Chernobyl. I think it's place. I think it's in Russia. I can't remember what it's called, but I know it's in Europe. Chernobyl. We still cannot visit Chernobyl, and it's we still cannot visit that location without experiencing any sort of radiation. Same thing I think with those places in Japan that got hit with those nukes, the nukes from World War II. Even they still cannot go to those areas or touch the water, the water that's surrounding the area because there's so much radiation still present. Like that's gonna take years for that stuff to eventually come off, die out from those areas. So obviously the radiation's not gonna disappear in my lifetime, and probably not my kids' lifetime or my grandkids or great grandkids. Probably shit. You probably the radiation probably ain't gonna happen until the sun fucking becomes a black hole and kills the destroys the entire universe. And that's probably when the radiation's finally gonna die out. So it's so basically a long time from now. So anyway, also sexual contact, coitus or copulation, is also forbidden, and the executed pair that they saw earlier had broke that rule. And you gotta think about it. You might think that it's a little hard. So dang, we can't have sex. But think about it though. Like in a scenario like this, it's a nuclear winter, so that means you can't go outside and grow any food because the soil itself is contaminated. If you were to go outside to try to forage any food or try to eat any animals, you can't because the animals are now filled with radiation. The fruits, if there's any left, is filled with radiation. You can't eat that because then you'll give yourself radiation poisoning. And so the food that you have left is basically you have to ration that properly so you could survive as long as you can. And if you want to sit there and have sex, there's no birth control. You can't sit there and talk about I'm going to get an abortion. And there ain't no damn condoms. And the pull-out method is not 100% effective. So, no. So, why risk bringing another life into this world where there's no chance that the human race is probably going to even survive this shit? And that was another issue I had with, if you watch The Walking Dead, I haven't watched nothing. I haven't watched Walking Dead since season 4. I have no idea what's going on since then. But with that whole thing with when what's her name? I hate her character. I'm like Lori. When her butt got pregnant, I was like, why would you get pregnant? Ooh. Anyway, but that's like you gotta seriously think about certain things like that in a situation where there's a zombie apocalypse or nuclear fallout. Why risk bringing another human being into this world when if you don't know there's a cure for a zombie virus, or if humanity is even going to survive this nuclear fallout? There's no chance for that. So why risk bringing another life into this world, especially where there's no chance that you even got food and clean water? You know what I'm saying? You know, it's to me that's sort of like condemning that child to a fate worse than death. You know, that's literally committing a child to freaking an eternal hell to me. So then we see Timothy emerging from the shower because she told him to get dressed, you know, be prompt and stuff. We got dinner, you know, got your evening wear, you know, you gotta look nice, you know, got this Victorian theme thing they got going on, you know. So he emerges from the shower and finds the number 666 written on his mirror and a voice whispering, "Timothy, beware, Timothy." I'm like, if I get out of my shower and see 666 on my mirror, I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm sorry. No. First, I would see if somebody was trying to fuck with me first. Like, yo, who wrote this on my mirror? I'm not fucking playing. Do not play with me. Like, I'm sorry. I know it's in the world, but don't play with this satanic stuff with me. Do not do it. Like, my nerves are bad because we in a nuclear fall winter and stuff. Now you playing with satanic stuff, do not do it. Because the building, the outpost and stuff is already freaking creepy because it's dimly lit because it's lit by candles, no electricity. And now it makes you creep shop. So then we see Mallory. She's the single designated gray on the flight, is among all the other purple refugees at dinner, as are Stu, Andre, and Dinah Stevens, an actress. Dinner is this little nutritional cube, and Coco is pretty much upset, like, you have all these resources, and you guys couldn't, you know, basically saying that they couldn't get any other food, but like, you know, like pirate booties or like some Taco Bell or something, you know. So Venable warns that even though supplies are meant for a few years and conditions must improve or options will be limited. And that's what I meant by, like, it would be stupid to try to get yourself knocked up, even if you just wanted a little bit of moment of a feel good, a little hour or 30 minutes of feel good. Is it really going to be worth it? Really think about it. Is it really going to be worth it? So then they said that a carrier pigeon had arrived inside a perimeter bearing a message from the collective. 3 outposts have been overrun, and they're the only civilized people left. The rest is dying or starving. Then we see Miriam Mead, who is played by the lovely Kathy Bates. She detects a radiation spikes and examines the purples. Gallion and Stu are found to be contaminated by the fallout from outside and pulled away from the dinner to be scrubbed. Stu is far too contaminated for salvage and is then killed. Miriam then visits Venerable in her room, and they pretend to be purples for a minute, and then they conspire about dispensing sadistic punishments, and Mead, who is a former military agent, admits that they've been making up rules and punishments as they go. Mead set the Geiger counter to maximum sensitivity to eventually frame Stu. They come back to the dinner the next night with a surprise of soup instead of the typical cubes. And so while they're eating, Gallion takes some out of her mouth, and it's like a tooth. And then Timothy's like, that's not a chicken bone. And then we see Andre take a freaking finger bone out of his mouth. I'm like, did they just eat this? And he freaks out. He's like, the stew is stew. Granted, that line it sounds funny, but when you think about it, it's like, did they seriously just make these people cannibals? So everybody freaking out and spit it up. Coco's like, Mallory, get over here and make me throw this up. I'm like, really, bitch? You can't make yourself throw up your own damn food? Damn, you that pathetic? Like, damn. I know some rich people can't do nothing, but damn. And so then we see Aunt Evie. She's like, I don't care what it is. It's good. I'm like, I don't care how hungry I am. I'm not going to sit there and eat a goddamn person. I'm sorry. I don't care if you done put seasoning. I don't care if you made it like a New Orleans gumbo. You turned it into a po' boy. You made a freaking stir-fried chicken with it. I'm not eating a human being. I don't care how hungry around. I will die of starvation before I eat another damn person. I am sorry. This is not Sweeney Todd's meat pies. I am not eating another fucking person. So Venerable says it's not, but we already know that they lied about Stu being contaminated, and they just freaking out like, if he was contaminated, why would she eat contaminated meat? Cause this bitch is crazy. That's why this bitch is gonna eat a person. And you clearly see that she has an issue with the rich people. By the way, she has an issue with rich people. This is why the way she's behaving against them. So the way she is, she has an issue. So maybe we'll be getting her backstory later on as the season progresses. So then, Emily realizes that the music has stopped because they've been playing the song over and over again for the past few years, and Gallon realizes the song ends up changing. So he takes it as a sign they're going to be rescued, and then we get sent to 18 months later, and the same song is playing, and they are eventually boarded as boys. Then we see Timothy and Emily are keeping up a subtle romance, limiting themselves to pretty much just kissing. And that nuclear winter has killed off pretty much of all life outside. And Venerable announces a further ration of dueling cubes, because she said in the beginning that they had enough for only 18 months. It has been 18 months. So at this point, what they have left, she has to literally cut that down in half. And everybody's upset, but she has to. If the shelter only had enough food for 18 months, the idea was these people are not supposed to be here from 18 months. They're supposed to move on to the next location, and nothing has happened yet. So the food they have left at this point, she has to be like, look, this is all we got left. I can't keep feeding y'all breakfast, lunch, dinner. We're gonna have to cut down a meal a day. So then we see the perimeter alert goes off. And so the gates open to a horse-drawn carriage bearing an adult Michael Landon. If you don't know who Michael Landon is, go back to watch season 1, Murder House. Michael Landon is an agent at the collective with an unlimited clearance. Mead disposes of the horses while Michael Landon parleys with Venable, yes. So Landon explains to her that he's basically there to evaluate the residents for possible transfer to the last remaining sanctuary, as 6 have been overrun. 6. Interesting. And the remaining 3 beyond Outpost 3 are soon to be. He could take any of them or none of them. Those who do not meet his say-so will essentially meet the same fate as his horses. So what this episode is definitely gonna start us off with some very interesting stuff for this season. Episode 2 is gonna be titled The Morning After, and episode 3 is titled The Forbidden Fruit. So obviously this season is combining Murder House, which was season 1, and Coven, which was season 3, which makes sense because we see Michael Landon. Michael Landon is obviously supposed to be the Antichrist, which makes sense because I took a screenshot. I'm gonna show you guys in the video, but I took a screenshot of the ID that he shows, right? So it says his ID reads the cooperative identification document. Agent has fingerprints left and right, and his fingerprints don't even look like this human, but you know. It says Agent Landon Michael. His ID number reads 45 underscore 2344 /R/666. Clearance unlimited. Rank ID 422301. I have a feeling those numbers mean something too, but you know that's 666. Cause I was curious when I was watching it, cause I watched it the first time, like to be amazed, and then I watched it again just to see if I could find anything I didn't catch, through my first viewing of it. So then I was like watching, I'm like, this batch, I wonder if his ID number was like 66 or something. And I was right. I looked at him like his number got 666 on it. Like nobody sees this. But anyway, it's combining Murder House with Coven. Obviously, in Murder House, you had Michael Landon is the child of, I believe it was Tate, and the lady that had moved in. Tate was, obviously was a ghost, and I can't remember the lady name that moved in the house with her husband, but And then of course Coven was about witches and stuff, So it makes sense you combine those two together because when it comes to most mythology, witches are supposed to be they worship Satan. So you have the Antichrist and you combining that with the Covenant. So yeah, you're gonna have some situation going on, some satanic type horsemen. And given the fact that the season is called the Apocalypse, and majority of if you look at the episode list, they're actually named some Bible stuff, especially with the one titled, episode 3 titled Forbidden Fruit. I have a feeling that it's called Forbidden Fruit, that maybe Timothy and Emily might end up copulating and hopefully don't get caught. But the fact that what I do find interesting is that Timothy and Emily was picked for their genetic coding. So I have a feeling, since this is Apocalypse, that maybe Timothy and Emily are supposed to be sort of like this new Adam and Eve in this new world that's going to be created under Satan's rule. Because if you read the book of Revelation, it's supposed to be, I believe, 7 years of turmoil, and then eventually God, I think it's supposed to be Christ is going to end of it eventually fight the devil. God wins. Devil is banished forever in eternal flames, and a new heaven will be created on earth. But obviously we'll have 7 years of turmoil. And after I watched the episode the first time, I went on Twitter to see people's comments, and they had me cracking up, like for real. Like I ain't gonna lie, I saw some comments talking about how Michael Landon looked. And I ain't gonna lie, it did look like he was either they was calling him like why he should, they was basically saying why he looked like either interview with a vampire, or why he looked like he need to be on Twilight part of the Volturi. I'm like, yo, he do. But also I saw some people's interesting theories, which I found interesting. And one of them was the fact that one of them said Michael Landon appears, he rides in on 2 horses. And I saw somebody saying those two horses represented two of the horsemen of the apocalypse, because you have four horsemen. You have um shit. I always forget one. I don't know why. It's famine. Famine. I think it's strife and disease. Oh, I think I got them all. Yeah, it is right. Let me double check, cause I forget. I don't know why I forget so many. Yeah. No, I see. I know I forgot one. It's war. War is one. How did I forget war? It's war, famine, death, and disease and stuff. So they said because he rode on two horses, two horses. Basically, two of the horsemen have eventually happened. So, which is death, which makes sense. Death, majority of people have died, so death would make sense. And I saw one say it probably was famine, which makes sense, which would make sense because majority of food is gone. But also, I would say the nukes probably also represent war, because those are acts of war. So I would say I could see probably that being an interesting theory, that the two horses that we see so far represent two of those apocalypses sort of scenarios. Now I also seen somebody post something about the seven seals, which is that we probably want to see somewhat of the seven seals in the show at some point. But all these are theories at this point. You know how people like to make theories for the show. Well, what I plan on doing is after Apocalypse ends, because we're only gonna have 11 episodes a season. We're gonna have 11 episodes for the season, so it's gonna be good. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back and watch all of American Horror Story. I'm gonna watch seasons 1 through 8, and see if I can try to connect them all together to season 8. Because season 8 obviously is titled The Apocalypse, and I'm like, in order for Apocalypse to happen, there would have had to been telltale signs throughout the other seasons that we know the end was coming. You know what I'm saying? Because in season 1, obviously one of the telltale signs is the birth of Michael Landon, who's obviously the Antichrist. But every other season will have to I think would actually have to lead up to this, which makes sense to me. Because in season 1 we have the birth of the Antichrist. Season 2 is the asylum, and you got aliens, and you got the devil who possesses one of the nuns. So I'm like, there's got to be. I'm just trying to figure out if, because to me, I feel like all the seasons are connected. I haven't watched any theories about how they're connected, but I figure out I go make my own theories and then probably compare notes with other theories I find on YouTube. So that's what I plan on doing with once Apocalypse ends, and because you gotta think about it. Okay, season 1 is the birth of the Antichrist. Season 2 we see the devil. Season 3 we have the Covenant, and we also see Papa Legba, and we see that the girls can kind of travel to the underworld. I don't know why you want to travel to hell, but they have the ability to do so, and not only that, but also bring back the dead if they can. And then you got season 4's Freak Show. You got the whole I just feel like there's little pieces that sort of tell you the end is coming, that this big build up to the end of the world. And then of course you got Cult, which I guess you would say was probably the final catalyst before the apocalypse, because when you think about it, because as I said before earlier in the video, when Trump became president, there was a whole him in North Korea and was beefing. They was talking about essentially firing off their nukes, and in season 8 that's exactly what happens, because season 7 was all about the presidential election and this sort of mentality that we have taken as a people. I'm like, you got season 7 was about the election, and then you got season 8 about the freaking apocalypse. To me, every season connected. You just gotta find the connection. So that's what I plan on doing. I didn't want the video to be this long, but that's what we got. But anyway, I want you guys to comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for the next episode of American Apocalypse. Look forward for American Horror Story Revisited. And also stay tuned for The Gifted. I will be further in season 1 before season 2 starts.